morning, everyone. Hello. What day is it today? Happy Friday. Yay. Made it through another week. I hope you're all okay. This is what we're making today. You saw the lovely picture of it a moment ago. I absolutely love it. And I can see Camilla's here. She reminded me, this one, Camilla's just for you. She sent me a message in the week and said, Sarah, you taught and had some kits on plaited memory wire a good few years ago and can't remember how to make them. I thought that's a great one to do for the live. So thank you for the little reminder, Camille. Oh, I've just realised I haven't got my light plugged in. Oh, rubbish. I'll have to do that in a second. Rubbish. I'm a bit all over the place today. It's been a manic old week, but I hope you are all okay. Yes, Camille, I'm freezing today. I've already been sat with a hot water bottle. It is the most beautiful autumn morning though. It's been really, really lovely. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna have to get a charger. Hold on 1 sec. Beth, please can you get my extension lead from the side of the bed? Thank you. So sorry. Okay, so yes, we're going to make plaited memory wire. The week goes so fast, Lucy. Good morning, Brenda. Molly, if you're watching, I managed to get 6 tickets for Ollie Murs last night. That sounds fun. When's that going to be? I want to come. Hi, good morning, Geraldine. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Sue. Missed a couple of days as we had friends to visit. No, we haven't seen that we haven't seen for months. Oh, Sue, I bet that was amazing. Really, really lovely. Hope you had a great time. Good morning, Lord. Says this bracelet looks lovely. Can't wait. Good morning, Ruth. Hi, Janice, Linda, Debbie. From a bright and sunny morning in Dorset. Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? A gorgeous morning today. Cold, but I really like that. I really like that. Thank you, sweetheart. Kelly, out you go. Go on. No one needs you today. Thank you. Okay, right. So let's get started. Memory wire. Honestly, you should see all the tech and the things we've got to plug in for all of this. I mean, it's nowhere near what Kitty has. Hers looks like some sort of spaceship control centre when you go into her office at the moment. She's got stuff everywhere. Now you can see me. Hello. Right, so plaited memory wire. I've put together some beautiful colourways for this. I have to say this one is my favourite. It's so hard putting colours together sometimes. Kitty and I were in the warehouse last week, as you know. And you all know because you've now had the tours of the warehouse. But you just have these vast, vast walls of crystals and pearls and absolutely all sorts of beads. And to then just look at it and put these colour combinations together and pick everything that's the right size, and sometimes you're limited by stock. So we don't have a huge amount because we are waiting for a new pearl delivery. But I will show you what I managed to get together. I think you're going to like them. So there are 3 colour options. Now I'm going to quickly pop over to the website to show you first of all. Let me just do that, and then that, and then that should let me go on. Yay! Okay, so plaited memory wire. It's really beautiful. It's super simple to do as well. So you've got your memory wire in there. I'm going to be using the 0.6mm today. You can use 0.8 if you want something a little bit stronger. And then the 3 colour options we put together, gold and navy. Now, as you can see, these are worth £18.75. They are down to £11.99. You get 5 strands of 3mm pearls and 5 strands of your 2.5 by 3.5 crystal rondelles. This is the one that I have made for you. And then today, can't quite decide which one to use, whether we go for pastels, which is really lovely. It's a gorgeous colour combination, and I think this is going to go with lots of different clothes, lots of different colours. And then this is one that Kitty actually picked, peacock. You can tell Kitty picked it because it's all her colours. It's really funny when we put colour options together. She always says, well, you do one of your colours and I'll do one of mine. Because her and I, we wear different coloured clothes and all sorts. And so we have our go-to colours. Oh, pastels, please, says Camille. Well, Camille, considering you are the one who asked for this tutorial, I will do exactly that. Okay, so let me just turn you down. So this is it, plaited memory wire. It looks really lovely. It looks quite intricate. It's not. It's super simple to do. There is a mixture of your seed beads, pearls and crystals. And we've got 9 strands of our memory wire in here. It goes on beautifully, sits really nicely, and of course it's just a cuff. So it's super easy to pop on, and amazing value as well. Okay, so your peacock one, I'll show you that then because I'm going to use the pastels. So you've got your 5 strands of your crystals, really beautiful. And actually you hardly use any beads on this because it is just simple stringing. So these are your 5 strands of crystals that you're going to get, and then complementing tones of your pearls. Like so. And you can always tell when Kitty and I get excited about colours because they sit on the desk and we just look at them and play with them. And Kitty kept on picking this one up and she's like, I really, really like these colours. And then I did exactly the same with my navy and blue, kept on looking at it all in the packet, picking them up and going, oh yeah, they work really well together. So that's really lovely. I think this is great for autumn, which of course we are fully into now. And then our pastels, which are really, really beautiful. Let me untangle these. So you've got 5 strands of your crystals. That's that one there, isn't it? One more. Ah, you. We kind of took it down a little bit of a pinky purple with a little bit of green. You can, of course, mix and match these colours. Now, these sets, if you're going to use these amount of beads, I would say you would probably be able to make 5 of these bangles out of these. Absolutely no problem. Okay, so a little bit of prep, first of all. I'm going to leave this here. I wonder if I can put it up so you can actually see it. Are you going to stay? Yeah. Little bit of prep. Okay, so memory wire. For those of you who don't know, memory wire are like these big old slinkies. These actually come in 20 coil spools. We're going to use 9 strands of it, but each of those coils are about 1.5 rotations, 1.5 turns. Oh, Janice says she's got the navy set. Lovely. I hope you love it. I totally love it. You always know when you've put a good kit together because it becomes your new favourite. Oh, Kim says she loved the pastels. Lovely, we're going to use those now. Okay, so for your actual spools of wire, one of your rotations of your memory wire is going to take you obviously to this exact mark. I'm then going to bring it round half more. So for every spool, for every little turn, I want 1.5. Okay, and we're going to take 9 of these. Now, it's not too long of a make. I was doing it amongst doing all sorts of other things, so it did take me a few hours. But that's when you kind of, you know, sit and pick things up and, you know, you keep on dipping in and out of it, don't you? 1.5. For each of these. So 1 brings you round, half to the other side. Now you really should use your memory wire shears with memory wire. It's a tempered steel, which makes it ideal for plaiting like this because your tempered steel is going to memorize its shape, as the name would suggest. 1, 2, 3. So it means that for a project like this, it's ideal because it's strong, it's going to hold its shape. Once you've plaited it, once we've put it all onto the cuff and worked it all out, it's just going to sit beautifully, but still really flexible. As you can see, it always bounces back into its shape. Which of course, as the name would suggest, it memorizes that coil and it's always going to bounce back, which is great. So there's 3 and then our last one. So you do need to use memory wire shears for it. Now I have good pliers and I've got bad pliers in my, you know, stash. As you can imagine, I've got hundreds of pliers all over the place. So I do actually keep, and I mean these are super strong, but what you will find if you use tools that are sort of a lesser quality, a softer metal, if you use memory wire on them, you're going to get little divots in the actual blade, and that's going to render them useless, because then when you bring them together, you're never going to get the cut. So with your memory wire, just make sure that just make sure that you use memory wire shears, or if you know you've got a pair of pliers that will work with it, then that is okay too. Right, so there's all of my wire. I've got 9 spools. This seems to be very close in today. Let me just see. There we go. That's better. Sorry, I was doing a Facebook Live for Craft Buddy earlier in the week, and I needed to be a lot closer in, so I've obviously zoomed it in too much. And you can see I was making flowers. I'm sorry, you can see all the little bits and pieces. I need a lint roller like Kitty uses. She just whooshes it across the table. Okay, so my 9 coils. We now just need to prep the ends of them, so we're going to turn loops. Now, memory wire is a little bit harder to work with than your standard kind of head or eye pin, but the concept is exactly the same. I'm going to take the end of the wire, and I actually want the loops on the end of this wire to be teeny tiny, because I am going to put them with my size 8 seed beads. So I don't want the loop of the wire to be any bigger than these. So I'm actually going to use right at the tip, and I'm just going to turn a little dainty loop. So as you can see, I'm actually using my thumb to almost assist that and help it rotate. Tiny little loop, and then we're going to centralize that. So once you've made it and both ends are meeting, you can see that I've just got a tiny little bit of overlap there. I'm going to pop my pliers back in. Let's see if I can do this up to you. And then I'm just going to push that wire back a little bit, which will now sit my loop just on the very end. Okay, and I'm going to do that to all of them. Now you'll also notice that whilst I'm working with my memory wire, I keep it all coiled. It's all nice and tight in my hand, because if I start pulling it out and moving it around the place, it's going to lose some of that shape and it's going to stretch out. So you do want to keep it as tight in coil as possible. So I tend to use all those extra fingers of mine that I always talk about. I tend to keep all of those in. I'll use my tiny little end here, and I'm keeping it all nice and wrapped in, using my thumb to just encourage that wire around. Most of the time you can actually then feel it hit your thumb and bend it backwards, so I've got a nice loop, and I'm going to do this for all of them. And then we can start adding on our beads. Now the pearls take a little bit longer to put on, of course, because they've got a colour coating around them, so where they are dipped and coloured, you've got slightly smaller holes, which just means that they're not as easy to pick up from the mat. So I found when I was making this one, I did have to pick up each of the pearls and put them on. But you don't need loads. It's probably about 1/4 of a strand, if not slightly more, maybe just under half, for each one of your spools. Now just make sure you don't have any little gaps. Can you see that that loop isn't quite closed enough? So I'm just going to nudge that around, so that I get almost just that slight overlap. And that means when I centralize it and bring it up, and I'm going to keep these in little sections of 3. And then it's just up to you what colour options you want to go for. So I'm probably going to do crystals and seed beads today, because I might do 1 strand of pearls just so I can show you. I don't want to keep you too long, and it'll probably be very boring just watching me thread beads on. If I had had more time this week, I would have prepped some more, and I would have popped on some of these pearls already. Okay, so 1 little loop on each end of your memory wire, and I've got 3. Now, if you wanted to do more, you could. I'll pick up the bangle and show you again in a second. So I have done 3 clusters of 3, but if you wanted a really thick cuff, you could even do 3 layers of 5. They would look gorgeous. I would encourage you to keep it into odd numbers, because that always looks better, as in with home decor and your jewellery. It's going to be odd numbers, so that you've always got that lovely centre line and centre focus. Now, I just saw that somebody was asking about sizing. Sarah, does one size fit everyone? Yes, it would. Now this is, so I I've cut 1.5, but I probably only used about 1.25. So these are actually the sections that I was then cutting off when I made it. So I have used 1.25 rotations, and I'll show you adding on the beads in a moment. And that fits my wrist, but obviously if you wear a larger size, you can actually pull this out and stretch it. Just like I said to you a moment ago, I was keeping it nice and cooled so that it doesn't stretch. If you did want to stretch it, then you could. But as you can see, because it sits on the reverse side, you've got all of that space. Even if I put it up my arm, the only difficulty is, is that it might start to dig in if it was for a larger size. So just account for that and who you're making it for. 1.5 rotations, you could fill that with your beads. I'll go for about 1.25 today, because it does actually use up a lot when you're plaiting. If you have a look here, mine has ended up the size of just one bracelet coil. Okay, whereas if we had more beads on there, I can make it larger. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. It will all come clear when we start beading away. Okay, so now we're going to add on our beads. So put together little colour families out of all of your beads so that you've got your little triple sets. So I've got, I went for the darker blue, so you can see I've outlined in all the gold, and the blue is the one that is running through the middle. Jodie says, could you use the same method for a hairband? Yeah, I don't see why not. The ends are a little bit scratchy because it's memory wire. Oh my goodness, that would look so amazing. The ends are a little bit scratchy, but you could probably... What could you use to do the bottom? I think you'd be better wire wrapping, so I think you'd be better using something like a 1mm thickness of wire to do that. So on my one, I have gone for the darker colours on the inside. These seed beads are nice and light. These are a beautiful sort of milky cream, a little bit pearly. So I am going to go for a little combination. I'll probably go for like the main feature colour in the middle, and then we'll do, we'll replace that with that. Look, they still look beautiful together. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Oh, yes, I've got one crystal missing. And I will probably chuck in, nice, I'll chuck in that pearl. I'll do one pearl just so that you can see how easily it goes on. Okay, so now I can actually use my memory wire like a needle. So I'm going to cut my strand of beads, take off a few and pop them onto the mat. And then we're just going to pick up directly from the mat. And so this was the only thing I found a little bit tricky with the pearls, but it's well worth it because they are really beautiful. Natalie, all of the beads are in the kits on the website and all of the sizes are listed there. It's a 2.5 by 2.3 rondelle and then a 3mm pearl. So can you see, again, I'm keeping that coil of memory wire. What's happening with Curly? Nothing. Morning, everyone. Sorry being late. Been running around the house and forgot what time it was. Oh, I think it might be because I chucked him out, Kitty. I chucked him out. So his fans were like, oh, poor Curly. Bless him. He's quite happy. John and Django came home last night, so he's got all his mates back. So I am just picking them up, but you can see that I'm keeping this memory wire coil nice and tight. So you're just going to pick up directly from the mat, just as you would with a needle. And you'll get into a nice little swing of it. They're going to go straight on. If you were using seed beads for this, you can actually use the bead spinner and spin directly onto memory wire. I haven't done it for a long, long time, but you can. So if you wanted to do something like this, maybe to match like the little macrame bracelets that we were plaiting. I love a plaiting effect because I just think it adds texture, it adds dimension, it makes it look really beautiful. Now, this is actually going to take me a long time to do, but what I think I'll do is probably take the end off of my other bracelet and I can show you the plaiting technique. Otherwise, we're probably going to be here for just over an hour, which I feel is too long. We'll have a little look. We'll we'll see how we go. So you're going to pick up all of these straight on. The crystals are nice and easy, as are your seed beads. What size is the wire? This is a 0.6mm memory wire. So it's thin enough and pliable enough that I can plait with it and work with it easily. And then it's strong enough, of course, being a memory wire, that it is going to keep its shape. So with my actual beads, I'm then going to bring them all the way down. So you can see I've got about 3/4 of a rotation so far. For my size, and as we know, I do have little wrists, as Kitty always likes to remind me. If you have smaller wrists, so I normally wear about a 7¼ inch bracelet, 7½ if I want it, you know, to be loose and a bit dangly. With something like this as a cuff, of course, you want it to be that little bit tighter. So I actually do 1 full rotation of my memory wire coil and a couple of extra beads on the end. And once you have your size, going to need just a couple more crystals. Once you've got your size, you're going to make all 9 memory wire coils exactly the same size. Let's bring some of these on. I'll do a set of 3 so that you can see it. And then we can get on with the nitty-gritty. So I'll just show you the size of this one and we'll do a seed bead one. Okay, so bringing them round, and as you can see, I've kept that lovely coil. So that is 1 full rotation of the memory wire. You can use the bead spinner with memory wire. Yes, Benny, you can. Directly onto it. So you could do that with your seed beads. The crystals are too big and the holes are too small. So you wouldn't be able to use those in your bead spinner, but you can absolutely use these. Okay, so I'm just going to go a tiny little bit more because I would like this one to be a little bit bigger than the one that I made in my navy and blue. Like so. So that's going to fit me. Okay, and you could go a little bit larger if you needed to, because you've still got all of this memory wire to go. So you can pretty much see what size it's going to get to, because by the time you plait it, it's going to be open like this. So you can see mine is down to just 1 rotation of my memory wire. If you open it up, you can see that that's going to be a lot bigger. So fill as many beads as you need. Okay, when you get to the very end, you are then going to repeat the process at the beginning. Morning, Sheila. She says, hello, all the beaders. A little bit late joining, no problem. Mina, yes, you could use 4mm beads, but that's going to make it very big because that's going to give you, in these areas, it's going to give you 8mm worth of thickness. Because obviously the strands are overlapping, so it's going to make it quite chunky. That's fine if that's the look that you want to go for, but they look nice when they're with more delicate beads, because when you're plaiting it, you are combining all of that thickness, so you're increasing the chunkiness as you go. I can't think of another. Increasing the thickness of it. Let's go with that. Okay, so I want to do the same little coil on the bottom. So I'm going to leave, and remember, we've got teeny tiny loops. They are right at the very tip of my pliers. So we're going to go teeny tiny here. So normally we leave 1 centimetre for a standard size loop. I'm going to go just under because, of course, it's very, very small. So what I'm going to do is then leave just under 1 centimetre, very tip of my pliers, no wire poking out at the top, and rotating that round. And then when you're working with your crystals, just take care not to kind of chip the top of them. So if you feel the wire going into it, just give it that little knock back, which will open it up. Depth. Hello, Jack. You always keep me good. You are increasing the depth of the bangle. Jack, I miss you. I haven't seen you for so long. And thank you for keeping me right. I could do with Jack just following me around and just feeding me words all the time for when I have little moments. Sometimes I do that to Kitty. She'll be sat there and going, what's the word? What's the word? So I always need my backup. Okay, so, hello, lovely. So I've got one of my coils done there. Now, I'm actually going to cut this bracelet up. Sad times. But it's so that I just hadn't quite anticipated, by the time I talked to you so much, I hadn't quite anticipated how long it was going to take me to do. So I'm just going to break off my little end sections on this bracelet. Sad. Easily fixable. That shows you how much confidence I've got that I can just do it all again and fix it up nicely. Okay, so that is your preparation. You're going to do that 9 times over, okay? And then I'm just going to move these aside because these are now the wrong colour for me. And we'll get my other ones. So I'm going to swap, that's your pastel colours as we were using. I'm going to swap now to the navy and the gold. So as you can see, I've got 9 coils. It's a little bit misshapen, so they are a little bit bigger because of course I've already had it in my bracelet. But I've now got 9 sections of my memory wire. And I'm just going to put them in the colour families again. So let's go a bronze, a blue, and a crystal. So that's a seed bead, a pearl, and a crystal. Let's go pearl, crystal, and a seed bead, so that's my lighter colour. And then I'm going to go seed bead, crystal, pearl. So you can also alternate the actual beads that you're using. Jack says, love these, very modern and something you could gift to all ages as a gift, 100%. For Christmas, these are going to be ideal. And our bundles, as we said, are down in price today, normally worth about £18, down to about 14, I think it is, if not a little bit more actually. And the colour combinations that you do can make it applicable for all age groups, and they're one size fits all. So if you are in doubt of what size the recipient would wear, go for your 1.5 rotations and fill those, and then you can always tighten it up if they wear a slightly smaller size. Okay, so preparation for the very end. I have half a rotation of my memory wire, and you can actually use your offcuts for this as well. So nothing's wasted. Make sure you keep little bits and pieces because you can always reuse. I'm gonna, again, very teeny tiny coils. So right at the end, no wire poking out at the top. And I'm actually going to bring this round, and you can see my fingers are just keeping that lovely shape, lovely coil. I'm going to rotate this around so that I have a double. So I've gone all the way around twice until the end meets, popping those pliers in and just knocking that back ever so slightly to then put it into the middle, okay? And then we're going to add on our coils. So I'm going to start off with 1 seed bead, and then my first coil. Now, you get a little bit fingers and thumbs because you are working with a lot of wire, but it's okay. It all comes together very easily. You've just got to keep yourself on track. So I'm always adding on the same side of my wire, so as you can see, which is why I pick them up in sets of 3 and hold them in my hand, like so. And then that's just going to rotate around. So there is 1 set of my 3 already on. I'm going to go for the lighter ones in the middle. And again, line up those holes. So you've got them all in your hand, and you just need to forget about the other side. And 1 seed bead, and then a coil. So as you can see, as they rotate round, you do end up getting in a little bit of a mix. But the great thing is it's such a durable wire that you just pull it into place and you'll be all fine. Oop. And then my last one, straight on. Okay, so I've now got my set of 6. And then these ends will secure on the other side. And then my last little section. I'm going to put the navy in the middle of this one. And yeah, I'm going to put the darker seed beads on the outside. So just think a little bit of the composition of your colours. This way, if I put the darker one on the outside, I'm also mimicking this side. So I've got navy in the centre and then my darker seed bead, which are these beautiful bronze. Popping those in as well. There we go. Okay, and now we're just going to repeat and coil this side as well. Now, if you want to, you can straighten out this memory wire a little bit. I prefer it coiled, you know, in the just with that ever so slight curve, because that's going to sit really beautifully on your skin, and you don't need to worry about these digging into you because we've knocked those back and straightened them up. So then we're going to do the same thing on this side, and remember it's a small coil, but it is a double rotation. So we'll go for about 1 centimetre. So we'll cut off about there. Right to the very end, holding on nice and tight. And again, just using my thumb to hold that in place. And I'm going to rotate all the way down until I meet my seed bead. And then I'm just going to tip that up ever so slightly. Now, sometimes you might get a little bit of a rough end, and you can just use your cutters to cut off the teeniest amount, but it's actually just neatened that up. So the coil is now sat on top, which means it's not going to come into contact with my skin. Okay, so now I've got my bangle ready to plait. Before you do that, because we all know I've got extra fingers, spare fingers, but you need a whole spare hand if you don't do this step. So we're going to repeat my little section for the end, and we're going to coil that first. Go for a little bit longer than that. Have I got any offcuts? No. Okay, so another half of a coil, and just get prepped for the little end piece first. So again, end of the wire, double coil. Just allow that to overlap ever so slightly. You'll feel the edge come into contact with your finger. Knock that back so that it's straight. That was a bit of a rush job. It's not very pretty, but that will do for now. And this is going to be the piece that we'll insert in the other end. I'm sorry to keep drinking my coffee. I'm a bit croaky today. Okay, so then we are going to split these into our groups of 3, and then we're just going to plait it, just like you would your hair. So we're going to bring that over. And as you can see, I am quite rough with it. You can sort of pull it into place, but you also need to allow it to stay in its coil, if that makes sense. So although you can see that I'm not outstretching or pulling any of this, I'm allowing it to kind of sit where it wants it to go. I'm just encouraging it over the actual beads. And what I'm also doing is keeping my little families of 3 flat, like so. Linda says that's her day sorted. Well, yesterday was the hairband and today it's going to be this. Amazing. I'm glad we're filling up your days productively. Okay, and then when you get to the very end, now can you see that navy blue one has jumped through? So I'm just going to take it back ever so slightly. Pull these nice and tightly. And you just want to have a little bit of a play, getting it all in the right place. So I'm kind of pulling it through, holding that in place with my spare fingers and bringing them over. Okay, and this is the bit that you then want to hold on to, this final little rotation. Now, as you can see, they're not particularly in line, but we'll fix all of that in a minute. So now I'm going to take my end piece, I'm going to add on my first seed bead, and I'm going to go through that first coil. Then I'm going to pick up another seed bead. So I'm now doing exactly the same threading motion that we did at the very beginning. Again, it's got durability in it, so you can kind of bend it, make it work for you, go wherever you need to go. Pulling these through and then into that last one. So now I have my first 3 in place with my seed beads. And then I'm still holding that plait, And now I'm just going to encourage these ones down. Now what I find easier is so that they are lined up, you can see that this top one is set back ever so slightly. Just take your flat nose pliers, hold on to that loop and pull it. And can you see now I've just encouraged it that little bit tighter, because when you're plaiting, some of the strands will go a little bit awry. They just won't sit as tightly. So you just want to encourage those to go in. And then as I'm bringing it round, so that I don't bend this last coil, I'm threading it back through, kind of going almost back down on myself to get to where I want it to go. So I'm not bending it. Bringing it down and going through, and I'm still holding on to that last final plait. Bringing it up to pick up a seed bead. Oh, those two are stuck together. Oh, Margaret's saying, wow, 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 fandabadozi. I love that saying. I haven't heard that for so long. Linda says, it's your fault. It started with, I'm not making a bracelet. Now look at me. Oh, Linda, that's brilliant. It's so lovely. We've got the Totally Handmade Facebook group, and so many of you... Have I picked up? Oh no, I thought I'd got distracted then and picked up the wrong one. So many of you are saying that during lockdown, because you might have seen I put up that picture of me upside down from the other day when we had dodgy cameras. So many of you are saying that during lockdown you have just perfected your beading. You've been doing things that you didn't think you could ever do before, and it's just lovely. I love hearing what you've all been up to, and it just makes all of this so worthwhile. So yeah, I'm glad that we've got you making bracelets, Linda. Look. Okay, so I'm just almost at the end. I'm just going to have to encourage these with my flat nose pliers just to line them up a little bit to get it in. So as you can see, they're slightly set back. Just going to pull that navy one through, pull that crystal one through, and then we're nearly there. So I've been holding on to that last little plait for dear life, death grip. Guess no answer. Jodie, what's your question? And I will answer for you. Popping that through. So now you can see I've got the lovely plait all the way through. You can encourage some of these. Just make sure that it's all in the right place. I think that looks really lovely. I love these colours together. Let's get these ones out of the way. And then you just want your last little coil on the bottom. So again, it's a double coil. So I'm just making sure I'm just pulling that through so that I know I've got no gap in between any of them. I'm then holding that top seed bead, and we're going to leave just over 1 centimetre so I can do that double coil. Cut that off. And when you coil with memory wire, always go in the direction of the loop. So you're always going to go with the lovely roundness that the wire already has. Don't work against it. Make it work for you, not against you. Thank you. You reminded me how to finish this bracelet, as I haven't seen the one I made for years. It's in my daughter's stash. You are welcome, Camille. Thank you for reminding me of one of my favourite styles as well. I mean, as you all know, there is just so many techniques and finishes and beads, and there's just so much that a lot of the time you forget as well. You forget what you already know, and you forget your designs as well. I really love making these. You can always neaten out and straighten out this bottom section if you want to. You could use, if you have a very thick, probably 1 mil head pin, if they're super strong, you could use a head pin in there as well. I didn't want to add in, oh, Jodie wanted to know what is the largest bead you could use for this. Thank you, Jack. See, you're keeping me good. Jack, I need you all the time. it's personal preference. I mean, you could do it in 10mm beads if you want to and make it into a choker. You could do anything. I personally, for me, I wouldn't go any bigger than these, because then for me it's just going to be a little bit too chunky. And I do have really little wrists, as you know. So for me, this is about good for me. It's sat next to my watch. It's about the same sort of depth, Jack, of my watch, because as you can see, when you're doubling them over, you're going to get that double layer. But it's up to you. If you want to do it with 4mm beads, then you know you'll just end up with a little bit of a deeper cuff. Entirely up to you. So don't forget, we've got the 3 beautiful colour combinations of beads. Sue says, love it, that's me hooked. Thank you, that's really inspired me, says Kim. You're more than welcome, I'm glad you love it. Sarah, it's a stunning bracelet, thank you. As much of a compliment as you're ever going to get off Simon this morning, because I sent him a picture of this and he says, now do you know what, that doesn't look half bad. So that is praise indeed. I'm really glad you like it. Sorry I couldn't make it in the other colourway. I totally overestimated my time and how long it would take me to put together, but at least you can have a look at how the thing is made from the beginning to the very end. I will try this weekend, if I get a little bit of time, I will try to finish off another colourway for you as well. Glad you enjoy it, thank you. Janet says, just joined, what size are you using please? So they're all over on the website. I'm going to show you again. Let me just, so this doesn't wobble, hang on. Hello. Let me just show you on the website. So we've got the 3 colour combinations. The beads that we have are on offer, so they're normally just under £20, and now they're just over a tenner. So you're going to get all 10 strands. You'll probably be able to make 4 or 5 of these bangles out of this amount of beads. 5 strands of 3mm pearls. Sorry, I've got hiccups now. 3mm pearls. And 2.5 by 3.5 crystal rondelles. You've got your gorgeous navy and gold, very biased. That's my favourite. Then you've got the lovely pastels, the ones that I was working with initially. You've got those creams, golds, beautiful soft powder, creams, purples, and a little bit of green in there as well. And then you have Kitty's option, which is the peacock, which are very much Kitty's colours. You've got the teals and the purples in there as well. So you've got absolutely everything you need all over on the website. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. You have me until next Wednesday. Sorry. Got lots of things all planned. They are all in the events. And as and when I get time to make them all, I will be posting up pictures online as well so that you can have a little look. Lucy says, lovely tutorial. Thank you very much, Sarah. You are more than welcome, Lucy. I hope you're doing okay. Leslie, does the memory wire come with the beads, please? No, so the memory wire is in the category. You'll just need to add that in as an extra. You will use almost all 20. You won't have enough for 2 bangles out of them. It's 20 coils. I've probably used about probably used about 18 of them, and then a little bit for the ends. So if you want to make multiple bracelets to match your multiple beads, then add those in. But your memory wire, it's not expensive, it's £1. So if you want to make extra bangles, add in extra 20 coil sets of your memory wire. I think it's amazing. So actually, if you broke this down, it's like a £6 bracelet, not even, just under £6, and you would definitely pay more than that in the shops or in your craft stands as well. Isn't it gorgeous? I love it. Amazing. Will you be making a little elf? I probably won't be, but I'm sure Kitty and Christopher will be. Have been knitting myself a scarf without dropping a stitch. Well done, Margaret. You are a better lady than me. Lovely. Thank you all so much. I will see you tomorrow, 10 o'clock, as usual. And then, like I say, you've got me until Wednesday, and then you'll have Sarah P again. So it's all the Sarahs this week. Love to you all. Stay safe. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend, whatever you're doing. Catching up with loved ones, perhaps. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the morning. Thank you all for your lovely comments today. I'll see you tomorrow.